Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video from your favorite wet guys. Today, as the title shows, I'm going to be explaining the basics of how to play Tallil tanks. This was asked by a subscriber. I think his name is Honor. Yeah. So his question was, how do you play Tallil tanks without dying, right? So be successful without getting killed by a second tank, whatever. Try to take multiple opponents, all that stuff. So I'm going to be covering this in two perspectives, both as the MEA in this case, Russia, and the other one is the US. It depends on the layer. There are two layers, B1 and B2, I think. There are six tanks in each, although these numbers that you see here are wrong, but these pounds are all that matter. A lot of tanks, a lot of armor. If you ever played it, it's chaos for tanks, and it can be a little bit tricky to survive. So as you can see in this map, we have three possible lanes we can go. For example, as American, both as American and as MEA in this case. So these lanes are obviously this one. We have the middle lane and we have the outside lane. So it's a three-lane map basically, and there are six tanks. So now, as a tanker, we have to figure out which of these lanes are well, and obviously we have another one. I didn't mention this one. Obviously, as a tanker, we gotta realize which of these lanes is the best one to attack from. As America, I would suggest that this outside lane is really bad. Mm, Really, because once you get to this spot over here, you are visible from basically everywhere on the map. You have like a really big cone of contact. If the enemy is coming from there, you can have enemies here, 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 you can have toes and placements, all that stuff. So here you are pretty much super exposed to every single angle. So obviously this outside lane I would completely remove from the action. I think it's complete bullshit. So this lane is not an option, I think. Obviously the central lane, this lane suffers from the same fate as the other one. You're completely exposed from every single angle. But this is even in a greater extent because you are so obvious that you're going to be pushing from there. So you're really exposed. Uh, so I wouldn't recommend this lane either. And weirdly enough, most people take both of these two lanes as attacking with the Americans, which is a big mistake, by the way. In my opinion, this is a big mistake. It's too open, you have no cover, you have nothing. For me, I would strongly suggest that you use this route over here. This route is way stronger. You are so limited to the amount of players that are going to engage you. You are super good in terms of cover. You are super good. You're super safe, and yeah, the enemies are going to come just from your straight front. So if you are, for example, in this area over here, they can only come from this general area, which is just in front of you, right? So that's great. It's going to be easy. I don't know how I'm gonna make it, but you will have examples on what to do and all that stuff. So once we choose this lane, which is the best lane, how we approach this? So we have to have a plan, and obviously for us, the best plan is to get to a rock formation that's around this area. This is the main objective: is get to that position, because now once we are in this position, and depending what the other tanks are doing, if they manage to kill the enemy tanks or not, if we manage to push here, maybe killing one tank or whatever, it's we have two options now. Once we get to this spot over here, is either depending on the amount of tanks and the info, most of the tanks will chill around this area, enemy tanks usually. So once we are here, we can charge through here and catch them from the back, which is a really good option. Or if we know that these tanks are already destroyed, we can basically just complete lock down their main. We are completely locking down their main, and now if any tanks wants to come out, because here the respawn timer for tanks is 5 minutes, so now we are in a good spot. We can pull out on it in and out of cover really quickly, and now we have a really strong position to lock down their main, which is playing Tallil tanks. The main objective is basically to control their main or to main camp. This is not really main camping, but it's really control their main in a way because there's really not much you can do. But yeah, this is the two options that you have: either flank, depending on the amount of tanks that they are alive, or in the end you are gonna hold down this main area. And for the MEA or Russians, eh, it's not gonna be the same because now you have the same lanes here, obviously, as before. But now this lane ain't that good because once you get here, you are super exposed from every single possible angle you can imagine. So this lane is a no-no. This is way too passive for my opinion. In my opinion, it's way too passive, and once you get here, you are exposed from almost everywhere. And the middle lane obviously is a no-no. So I would suggest going for the outside lane for Russia. And the reason being is that this lane here, you have really good vantage points here. You can actually have shots over almost every this cone of fire. You can easily engage this. And the only tow locations are in front of you, so you should be aware of these tow locations. And the enemies can be coming from either here, or they can be pushing through there or through there, which is gonna be really easy to spot. And you're gonna have lots of targets because, as I said before, the enemies like to push this way for some reason. So yeah, once you do that, I would suggest that your objective as to control the map in this case is to get to this location over here. Around this area, there's good deflates that Russian armor can really take advantage of, and now you can lock down basically their main again, right? You have complete lockdown of their main. If you want to camp this way, you're gonna see them. If you want to camp this way, you're gonna see them. Really, any possibility you are literally closing because normally the enemies don't go like so. That's gonna be really hard and weird to do, and even then you might have a shot. So yeah, I think in order to have these tactics, you're obviously gonna have some examples rolling around. I think, but obviously to make these tactics work, in the end, is just to main camp and say, well, but you are just main camping, right? Yes and no. First, you gotta clean up the enemies and then push up. This if you play War Thunder, you will be familiar with what I'm talking about here. It's about cleaning up what you have in front of you and be pushing slowly pushing to a position we can actually lock down their main in a way or have good position and good eyes on their main. So it's easy pickings, right? So that's what you have to do. I think it's really simple to play. It can be boring, I think. You can get 5, 6 kills if you have in a good game. Sometimes you get 3, 4, 5 kills. I don't know. Around 6 kills, 7 kills is a really good game. Playing this 6, 10 kills. I mean, it's a really good game. 6, 7. But yeah, it can be really boring and really repetitive and fun. I think it's a good gimmick, but that's it. Really, there is nothing out of it. So if you like more videos like this, just let me know which maps you want to cover. I will happily give my opinions and my thoughts on where to go and how to position yourself. This is a really simple map, so I don't really need to expand a lot. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time.